Stop going to people's homes. You do not have time to drive 30 minutes, an hour to someone's home, sit there with them for another hour, and then drive back another hour. What's going to be important if you want to get to 25 deals or 250,000? You're going to want to have a schedule that is very clear and very easy for you to follow. Your schedule, whether it's to do 25 deals or 50 deals, it's going to be reflected in how many people you talk to every day and how many appointments you set. With Sunday Fun Day coming to an end and the new week about to start, I wanted to jump on here real fast and talk to moms because something I hear a lot is, and I get messages constantly in my DMs. How do you take care of two kids and have a big business and do all these things? And what I realize is that sometimes we take for granted the systems that we've learned and the schedules that we have. So, how can a person that is very limited on time become more profitable? And why is this important to you? Well, a lot of the people I have the pleasure of assisting, coaching, guiding, whatever term you want to use, they have a very limited amount of time that they can do business in. So, most of the people that I'm able to coach or guide, whatever word you want to use, they're moms. They drop their kids off at school in the morning, and the only time that they have to be able to work is from the time they drop their kids at school to the time that they pick their kids up. So what are we talking about? Like 8:30 to like 3, 4 o'clock. That's it. That's all the time that they have to make the money they're going to make in real estate. So what does this eliminate? All of the agents that run around last minute that they get a lead from Zillow, they need to go out at 8 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock in the morning, on the weekends. These gals and people, there's men too, that have families where they need to be present. They're not able to do that. So, what is the solution for you? You're not somebody that can just pick up a lead and go run out there any time of day. You have a very scheduled life and you have limited hours to make money. The first thing that you're going to want to do is decide whether or not you're going to be a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. A seller's agent obviously has more control over their time. So I'm going to focus on seller's agent because simply as a one parent household raising two children, there was not the ability for me to become a buyer's agent and do buyer deals. I just didn't have the flexibility to run out and see homes whenever a buyer wanted to see them. So I decided to become a seller's agent because while you can have 10 listings in your inventory, you cannot have 10 buyers in your car. Right? So that's what we're going to focus on today, being a seller's agent. And if you want to get to 250,000 a year, we are in a marketplace where the average commission is 10,000. Maybe some of you are in marketplaces where your price points are much higher. I'm in Dallas, Texas. The average price point here is about 400,000. So average commission, it's around 10 grand. So we're talking about 25 deals a year here in Texas. I'm not talking about doing luxury. I'm not talking about doing complicated deals, commercial deals, simple single family residences in normal price ranges. Something that anyone who gets started could automatically start doing. You do not need to be specialized or long time experience. How do I know it works? Well, not only have I seen it for myself, I'm seeing it for the people in our organization. Liz Casares, Liz is a full-time mom and a wife. She has from the time she drops her kids off at school around 8:30 to about 3:30, 4 o'clock every day to do her deals. She's not able to go run around at night. She doesn't take listing appointments on the weekend. Liz works Monday through Friday within the hours that she has to be able to create a very substantial income, even as a brand new agent. So, what's going to be important if you want to get to 25 deals or 250,000? You're going to want to have a schedule that is very clear and very easy for you to follow. I'm going to be specific on this teaching because this is really like for moms who I know what position you're in because I was in the same. So maybe you get up at 5:30 and you work out at home, like you do workout home workout videos, or maybe you go to the gym, whatever you like to do. Or maybe you just walk your dogs. Start off by moving your body. And then you're going to want to write out your scripts or do role play. Who is the best person for you to role play with? It's your kids. I mean, obviously, if they're babies in like, baby seats, they can't talk back. But toddlers, elementary, middle school, even teenagers, excellent role play partners. So if your job as a mom is to get your kids to school and you're not able to join a role play group or a group of people that are, you know, doing role play together, you're going to want to make your kids your role play partners. Now, as a byproduct, something I've learned after doing this for, you know, however many years, my daughters are getting very good at cold calling. We've been role playing for so long that they know all the objections, all the handlers, and now they get on the phones and set appointments. So don't sleep on the fact that, yeah, maybe they're kids and they're not your ideal role play partner, but you might be creating a legacy by doing that every morning on your way to school with your kids. So that's going to be your best role play partner. You drop them off at school, you get your coffee, you come home, and you start getting on the phones. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like cold calls. Fine, don't do cold calls. If cold calling is not your vibe, call people you already know. If you'd rather talk to friends and family, maybe you had a previous job where you owned a business and you already have a big book of clients of people who know, like, and trust you, fine. You do not have to become the king or queen of making cold calls. You can become someone who just leverages your own network. Or if you're somebody who really loves social media and you know how to turn social media leads into clients, then do that. So when I say at 8 a.m., you're going to start cold calling, I'm only sharing what was true for me because what was true for me is that calling expired, the four horsemen expired, for sale by owner, just listed, just sold. That created a lot of business for me. But if that's not your vibe, don't feel like you have to quit the business. Maybe your vibe is calling warm leads, people who already know you. Maybe your vibe is you're really good on social media and you can turn a post into a client. Whatever it is that you do to generate leads, to generate clients ready to sign a document to work with you, it has to be done first thing in the morning from, let's say you drop your kids off at 8, you drop your kids off at 8:30, whatever time it is, a minimum of 2 hours. Now, for all of you getting started, they're like, "Oh goodness, 2 hours, that feels like forever." Think about the gym. I don't know if you've ever had, like, for example, I was terrified of doing my trainer's full glute exercises. I was like, "Man, I'm not even gonna be able to walk." So I started with like 2 exercises, and then I did 4 exercises. And then after a couple of months, I was comfortable doing his whole glute routine. Cold calling can be the same way for you. If you're like, man, tackling 2 hours of the phone every day is just too much, start off with 30 minutes. Just create a habit that for 30 minutes a day, you're going to do this. And then you can work up once you started having that muscle of a habit. Maybe then you're going to do 45 minutes. Maybe then you're going to do an hour. However, you get there, the goal is to be at a minimum of 2 hours a day of lead income creating activities. What are income creating activities? A lot of people know it's an algorithm. I forget what it's called. Anagram. I think it's an anagram. Plan. So plan. P is for prospect. L is for lead follow up. A is for appointments, and N is for negotiate. Those are your four income activities as a realtor. So whatever you're doing from like 8 to minimum 10, really 12 would be ideal. It has to be something that creates new business for you. Social media, warm calling, warm texting, cold texting, whatever it is you guys do that gets somebody to create an appointment with you. And that is our goal every day. One thing I'd be very careful about, since you have limited time, you don't have time to play, right? You only have like 6 hours a day that you get to work, since we're talking about this mom schedule. You can't be somebody who has contactitis, someone who's just there doing it, going through the motions. Oh, I got a contact today. You don't have time for that. You have to be somebody that says, today I'm here setting a minimum of one qualified appointment. So your behavior while you're making these calls, you have to be closing. You have to be getting to the point. And the point is that you want to set a listing appointment. Or if you're working with buyers, you want to set a buyer orientation. If every day you make calls until you get one person interested, then you have done your job. The rest will come from there. So that's the first part of your schedule. You're going to be moving your body, role playing with your kids on the way to school, and then you're going to make your lead generation calls. So, what happens after that? The afternoon is where a lot of people's schedule gets a little dicey. And if you have kids, you really don't have a lot of time to waste. You're going to want to dial in at this point. So around 12 o'clock, 11:30, you're going to take a break, go out for fresh air, walk. It's so good for you. You need fresh air. Don't be stuck in a room with a computer. And you're going to eat. You need to eat. And after that, what you're going to do, and this is everyone's going to want to throw tomatoes at my screen for what I'm about to say. Stop going to people's homes. You do not have time to drive 30 minutes, an hour to someone's home, sit there with them for another hour, and then drive back another hour. You don't have enough time for that. Now, am I saying to do every single listing appointment via Zoom? I'm not. You're going to have special occasions where you have to go and see the house. And this, some of you are just really going to be like, this is crazy. That doesn't work. Well, go and check with Michelle Pladen, Noemi Lalombas, Liz Casares, Melissa Valentin, a lot of the gals that I'm currently working with and that I have worked with. The majority of their listings, they have done Zoom listing appointments. Why do I love Zoom listing appointments? What do you guys think is number one? Safety. I am big on safety. You know, realtors were a little bit, I mean, less safe than even, I don't want to use the word, I don't know what the right word would be, but escorts, streetwalkers, right? They go out and meet people that they don't know and they're very unsafe. How are they any different than you as a realtor going out and meeting a stranger from the internet? Someone who wanted to see a home. You don't know anything about them. From a safety standpoint, women, please stop going out and meeting strangers. We see way too many headlines of these women that have just had awful things happening to them. And I'm not going to say that it's our fault, but why are we going out to meet so many strangers that we know nothing about just to chase a commission? Stop doing that. There is no reason why, if you're a local expert, you know the local market well, you have all the pictures from online, you have all the information from the MLS, you can't go ahead and do a Zoom listing appointment. The only reason why you're not doing it is because you think somehow you're going to like bond with people or charm them in person into like working with you because you don't have skills. If you have sales skills, you do not need to go in person. And I can definitely role play this with somebody who's interested. If you want to do a Zoom listing presentation, I think we actually have some on my YouTube channel. More than happy to share what that looks like. It is the same listing presentation, except it's shorter. You get down to the point, and the people typically who will take one, they're a level 10 motivated. They are not messing around. They are looking to sell their home. So if you have that limited amount of time and you need to get a lot done, you are going to want to implement Zoom. You simply don't have the time to be driving around to people's houses all over whatever metro you live in. And clients will respect your time, especially the more listings that you get and the more you close, they're going to be like, wow, he or she must be super busy. I mean, that's cool. I'll take a Zoom appointment with them. They're doing something different. So keep yourself safe. Make sure your clients know how busy you are. We're all important, how busy you are. And then also honor your schedule by saving all of that time going back and forth. You don't need to do it. So in your afternoons, what you're going to want to do is keep two times for listing appointments. I personally am doing them at like 1 and 3 now, but some of my agents are doing them in like 30-minute blocks. Some of them, they take a little longer, they take like an hour each one. The better you get at this, the more you'll know how long your listing presentations go virtually. The other part of this in the afternoon, and for any of this to work, is what do you not see in here? So, are you going to photo shoots? No. Are you placing boxes, lawn signs? Are you going out to lunch and coffee with everyone who calls you? No, you don't. So, the way to make all of this work is have a very rigid schedule that people understand. In the morning, you're calling, in the afternoon, you're doing appointments. Now, what do you do if you don't have appointments? What do you guys think I'm going to tell you to do if you don't have appointments in the afternoon? You're going to get back on until you find one. Yeah. You're going to make calls, door knocks, whatever it is you like, social media, whatever it is that you do to find clients to set appointments. You will continue doing that in the afternoon if you haven't set one in the morning. Some key components here. What are some key components to making this work? You need to have a strong staff who understands what you need from them. I could talk about systems. I think that's probably going to be part two of this series, like how to make 250 as a mom, because your system staff is going to be who keeps everything rolling, right? Because what's going to happen when you have 5 active listings? Of course, you're going to start getting more calls from sellers, more calls from buyers agents, people, photographers lost. They don't know where the key box is. This is when it becomes so important that you have the right staff and systems in place. And just to give you guys some quick thoughts about it, until you're really making, I would say, like $500,000 a year, you don't need an assistant. Do not invest in a $60,000, $80,000 a year assistant. You're not there yet. All you really need at this point is a strong transaction coordinator. And I would suggest two of them. You should have one transaction coordinator who does all of your listing input. So when you receive listings, they handle getting it into your MLS, scheduling photographers, scheduling the sign, the lockbox, the open houses, all of that. And then your second TC, your other transaction coordinator, what you're going to want them to do is all of your contract to close. So once you guys get a offer from a buyer that your seller accepts, that person will then be handling the transaction from the time it's executed to the time it closes. Again, what are they going to do? They're going to call the stager to have the staging removed, make sure any invoices that are needed are going to be submitted to escrow, ensure that the lockbox is picked up, the sign is picked up, so that you're not bothered with any of these mundane things that don't make you money. And good transaction coordinators, they want to work with an agent who treats them well. And this is a big thing I see, especially with men. A lot of men are like, I am in charge, I'm the boss. Transaction coordinators hate that. If you treat them like they work for you and you're the rainmaker, you're going to lose good people every time. If you want to hold on to great transaction coordinators, the key is to treating them with a high level of appreciation and constantly reminding them that you see what they're doing, that you haven't missed all the extra work they've put in, and what an important part of your team the transaction coordinator is. So that's just a little pro tip. I have seen a lot of good agents lose great transaction coordinators because of the way they treated them. Be very careful. Yes, you're the person on the front line, you're dealing with the clients, it's stressful. Do not take it out on your transaction coordinator and do not treat them like you are the boss and they work for you. They do not like that. So, good ones. Why are good ones so important? Well, if you're doing $10,000 transaction, right? 10,000 in commission, most transaction coordinators nationwide, the going rate is about 150 for listing input, and then about 250, 350 for contract to close. So if you had an assistant, you're paying them tons of money, right? And we're only doing 25 transactions or 10 or 15, whatever you guys are doing in your markets to get to 250. You just need someone who will get the job done that is paid at a fair rate. Paying a transaction coordinator is like a hack. It's barely any money for how much commission you're making, and the good ones take over the worst parts of the deal. So that is part of your systems without going too deep into what you need to do to help you get to 25 deals or 250,000 as a part-time agent. So the schedule I have up right now is not a part-time agent, that's a full-time agent. In order to be finished, I finish every day by 3:30 so I can pick my kids up from school. You want to wrap up your last appointment probably no later than setting it at 2 o'clock. So, in order to do that type of volume in that short period of time, your three takeaways should be get super clear on time blocking. Your schedule, whether it's to do 25 deals or 50 deals, it's going to be reflected in how many people you talk to every day and how many appointments you set. If you set 2 appointments every day, you'll likely do 50 deals. If you set 1 appointment every day, you'll probably do about 25 if you're a newer agent. If you're a more experienced agent, you don't have to go on as many appointments because you're better at pre qualifying. So, if any of this is unclear or I can help you in some way, I'm going to open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions about what I described in terms of the schedule, in terms of what's important for money making, boundaries, standards, time blocking? All right. So if you want to do 250,000 and 25 deals, and all you have is the time you drop your kids off at 8:30 in the morning, so the time you pick them up at 3:30, the most important thing for you is that you have a minimum of 2 hours a day in income generating activities, cold calling, warm calling, social media, whatever it is you're doing that gets somebody from, hey, I'm interested in selling my home to, I'm signing a listing agreement with you, Wendy. I want to sell my home with you. With you, Jose. Yep, I'm ready to go. Whatever you're doing, you need 2 hours minimum of it every day. No matter how you feel, no matter what mood you're in, no matter what's going on in the universe, those 2 hours a day happen every Monday through Friday. And then because you've worked so hard during those times and you've set those boundaries for yourself, you don't feel guilty. You know, you guys who are taking phone calls when you're with your kids or leaving them to go show a home, there's a lot of guilt involved in that. You don't have that level of guilt when you went hard all day, you set your appointment, you took your listing, and you know that in 45, 60 days you're going to get paid. Then you have the peace of mind to actually be with your kids and not be elsewhere mentally. So I hope that this was helpful for everyone. If you have any questions about how to do more business in less time, go ahead and reach out to me, and I'm happy to help any one of you. You'll be great.